Welcome to Rider Club Radio, the podcast all about Kamen Rider. I'm your host, Jeff.
And I'm Liam.
And today we're going to start off by talking about Kamen Rider Drive, episode 36.
Yeah!
What happened in today's episode, Liam?
On this week's episode of Kamen Rider, if you remember last week, Shinosuke and Nira are in like a little standoff in the SCU office, and Nira's got the gun pointed at Shinosuke, the gun that killed Shinosuke's dad. And he's like, "Oh, this is the media's gonna think this is all in an unfortunate hostage situation, and oh, you're gonna try and kill me, and I'm gonna wrestle the gun out of your hand, and I'm gonna shoot you, and you're gonna be dead. And it's gonna be everyone's gonna think you're a criminal. It's gonna be a perfect plan." And he just masturbates all over Shinosuke's face about how smart he is. And he says, "Oh, in 1 hour, Yukari, if you know the girl from last episode, the poison from the tentacle tongue that I mentioned last time." The thief Roidmude hit her with a tentacle tongue and poisoned her. She's going to die in 1 hour, and in that hour, so he's going to shoot Shinosuke as well. They're going to die roughly at the same time. He's going to try and shoot for that, just for maximum irony in his death. And meanwhile, Heart and Go are fighting. Remember that fight that started last episode over Bano?
It almost started last episode.
Almost started last episode. We see the end. Go gets his ass kicked and drops Bano on the floor, and then Bano uses techno tentacles to fight off Heart. A lot of tentacles in this two-parter, you'll notice.
Oh, yeah.
So he drains Heart's power or something? He weakens him with techno-tentacles. And then Heart falls unconscious, and Go, presumably, we don't see it, but Go presumably just gets up and grabs the thing and fucks off while Heart's unconscious.
Because Medic shows up, and she's like, "Hato-sama!"
Hato-sama! And
he's like, "Bano, this is the power of Bano." I thought he was just a fucking iPad.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's some iPad, eh?
No kidding.
I didn't know they had that kind of hardware.
iPad, now with techno-tentacles.
That's like, what iPad are we on? That's like iPad 9 or something.
What iPad are we on now, to make that joke?
I don't know. We're probably on like iPad 15. I'm way behind, I bet. Anyways.
The iPad cast. Brought to you by Apple products. Please buy.
Thank you. Go and Chase, they meet up, because Chase finds out about Yukari being sick through the proto-drive shift car that he sent after her last episode. So the shift car comes back, Chase gets filled in, he meets up with Go. They're like, "What do we do? She's sick, she's gonna die in an hour." She's got a literal, like, disease clock on her arm that's like, this is the time left until she's gonna die. They're like, "What the fuck do we do?" Fucking, the medic car doesn't work. Mad doctor.
I tried shooting her in the arm and it didn't do anything.
I'm out of ideas. You shoot her and that's all. That's all I got. So, Bano's like, I'll handle it. Don't worry. I'll fucking handle it. And then it cuts away. And Nira and Brain and Tomari Shinosuke, are in the SCU office, and Brain's there to taunt him as well. And they're like, "Haha, you're so fucked." They take a bag and they put belt sand and all the shift cars, they stuff them in the bag. Shinosuke can't do shit. He's just stuck there in the room, and he's like,
I want to point out, this scene is tense as fuck.
Yeah! There's no, like, monster fights, there's no punches or like, big special effects, but it's a really, 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 like, well-shot scene. It's very well-paced. It's intense.
Yeah, it's intense as fuck, and the camera continually shifts around so you can never get comfortable in a shot. It's meant to keep you on edge.
Yeah, if that was on purpose, it's brilliant. So, the Tomari and Nira thing eventually comes to a head, and Tomari gets shot. Nira fucking shoots Tomari in the chest. And Tomari falls down and he dies again. Oh no!
Oh my god, how many times can one man die?
I don't know, he's catching up with Go here. So Nira and Brain the next day hold a little police press conference, and they're like, "Oh, it's such a sad story, Shinosuke is dead, and so is Yukari, and it's pretty much all Shinosuke's fault."
Yeah, so, Shinosuke's a horrible fucking criminal, and I stopped him because I'm the best. Vote Nira 2015.
Eagle-eyed viewers will notice underneath the table, while Nira is talking bad about Shinosuke, underneath the table he's pitching a pretty huge tent while he's pinning these murders on Shinosuke. And so he gives his spiel to the media, and then the whole gang busts in. All the riders and Kiriko, who's decided she wants to do something this episode.
Yeah, Kiriko speaks more than one line this episode.
Holy shit. Start a revolution. She says, "That's all a fucking lie. We used Bano's tentacles to turn Yukari into Data temporarily, to hack the disease out of her, and then turn her real again." And then Shinosuke's like, "I wasn't dead. Since you even though you put it in a bag, Dimension Cab can still go wherever it wants, because it can travel through dimensions. So you're fucked. and I blocked it with the dimension cab. When you shot me, the bullet went into the other dimension.
Here's the bullet. You fucked yourself over because you used the same gun that killed my dad, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, it all comes crashing down on top of Nira. He fuses with Brain in one last attempt to maybe fight his way out, but there's 3 riders there, and they kick his ass pretty good.
Not only do they kick his ass pretty good, they fucking triple team this motherfucker.
They finish with a good triple rider kick, 3 in succession. It's brutal. Oh, the humanity.
They kill Brain. They kill Brain except his core. His core survives.
Yeah, Brain blows up, his core floats away. Nira is promptly arrested. But he does get one last moment of like, hee, you're gonna lose, Kamen Rider, even though I'm in jail. Ooh.
Yeah, he gets one last moment of like, remember kids, I wasn't the real villain of this series.
This isn't the last episode, we swear.
Please continue watching.
So he gets dragged off by the cops, he gets arrested. Like we said, he's probably out of the story now. Brain crawls back to the other Roidmudes, and Medic picks up his little number and smushes him. I don't know if he's dead or if she's just fucking with him.
I think she's just fucking with him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be. I guess we'll find out next episode.
And then Hart, yet again, says pretty much the same fucking line as earlier. Bano.
Bano is so strong. I gotta fight Shinosuke to find my answer.
I gotta beat up an iPad.
And that's the end of the episode. So, Jeff, what did you think of Kamen Rider Drive episode 36?
The first half of this episode, as we were saying a minute ago, is super fucking tense. Like, it's like a Mexican standoff.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're just standing there with guns, and like Nira's like, shoot me, you pussy-ass bitch, shoot me.
Yeah, he taunts Shinosuke into pulling out his police gun, which we've seen now for the first time. Shinosuke's got a fucking, like, hand cannon 6-shooter on his strapped to his chest the whole series under that
Peacemaker, they call it.
Yeah, under that jacket of his. And it
But Shinosuke pulls out his gun and he points it at Nira and he says, "Don't talk bad about my dad!" And Nira's like making puppy dog noises at him. Which is hilarious. Like, the scene is super tense, but Nira is still Nira. He never fucking gets serious, even for a second.
Yeah, he doesn't break character, seriously.
It's amazing how tense a scene can be while a man is laughing like a woman.
Because Nira's
making dog noises.
Yeah, Nira's established, you know, we know how he is, we know what kind of an evil bastard he is, so he can still keep doing his thing, and it can still carry a scene.
Yeah, we even get the return of him, like, spewing out the word Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider!
Every time he says it, he's like, Kamen Rider!
I love that.
Yeah,
it's like one of my favorite parts of his character.
Great
now.
delivery.
I can't believe it was so tense with him in the room. And then Shinosuke pulls the trigger, but he shot a hole in the wall next to Nira's head instead.
That happens in every Japanese thing ever, you notice? It's always somebody, like, shooting somebody and it looks like they're shooting them, or it looks like they're stabbing them with a sword, but they actually shoot or stab, like, right next to them.
And then they're like, I can't do it!
Yeah, exactly. Fuck.
Jinx, you can't talk for the rest of the podcast, bitch.
So -1 for the cliche Drive.
I really enjoyed this episode, I gotta say. I've been saying that for fucking ever now, but, I mean, it wasn't as good as the last episode, I'll say. But it was still a damn fine episode, and the resolution of that plot was really good. I love how convoluted Brain's plan was, using his namesake.
It was convoluted, but it made sense. You know?
It was air fucking tight.
It was sadistic. Yeah, it was sadistic, and it was evil, and it was very clever. So, yeah. Thumbs up for that.
And, like I said last time, it was really cool to see the villains doing some sort of a plan that didn't just involve beating up Kamen Rider.
Yeah, Nira has a bit in here where, like, even though he is silly, he is a genuinely good villain at times. He's like, you want to know why I poisoned Yukari? You want to know why I'm killing Yukari? I don't have to, but it's because that if I kill Yukari, it means your father died for nothing. It means she's dead. Like, that's how much of a prick.
Cold as fucking ice.
I love it.
He's a demon, man.
Yeah, him and Brain were both just fucking on point this episode. That was fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Brain is like, he's watching it like a fucking voyeur, like beating it under the table.
Yeah, he's looking at the camera feed out in the little tent, waiting for Shinosuke to get shot.
He's like, oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's the whole hostage-taking situation is just great. Great.
And then beyond that, we get a beautiful moment where, Shinosuke does this fucking, like, dimension cab thing where he catches the bullet, but he also sees a feed behind Nira showing him that Yukari's alright.
I know what you're talking about.
And we get the beautiful shot of Go giving the most unenthusiastic thumbs up that's ever been. And Chase looks over at him and goes, I should probably do that too.
Chase is just standing there with his arms hanging limp, and then he looks over at Go and goes, oh yeah, and he puts a thumbs up as well. And Go...
Go looks at him and is, like, disgusted that he's doing the same thing as him.
I love... That dynamic is so great, because it's like, you have Chase and Go, and even after they're working together, they still hate each other.
Yeah, they absolutely don't like
each
other.
And it's not drama so much anymore, they're not trying to kill each other, it's just comedy now. Like, when Chase brings Yukari to Go to try and, like, help fix her, he goes up to Go immediately, and he's like, look, I know you don't like me very much, but I need your help.
He's like, I know we're not buddies, but you won't turn me down for help. He learned the word buddy last episode.
I hope that dynamic keeps going, because it's like, it's nice. Yeah. The whole plot hatred between them is over, but it's still there, but it's like it's done being a big issue, and it's nice. It's nice that it hasn't just completely disappeared and they're best buddies.
We have the coolest, maybe the second coolest transformation sequence in the entire series this episode, where the three of them are standing back to back to back. The camera pans around them as they're transforming. They all say henshin at the same exact moment. It's fucking great.
It's one of those transformations where they're all doing it at the same time, so it's just a bunch of belt voices screaming, and you can't make out what any of them are saying. Those are the best kinds.
I saw that scene, and I was like, that's gonna be a fucking GIF.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. A WebM.
There's gonna be so many webums of this.
No way that's not happening, yeah.
But that was beautiful, and then we got a fucking awesome triple rider kick.
Yeah. Great moment.
That was boss.
Great fight finish, great effects, comparatively, in this episode.
There's actually, I want to take a moment to point out something that I never particularly noticed.
What?
The hand motion that Shinosuke does when he, like, does the little flippy bit when he's transforming on his wrist thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is like one hand is down, he flips the thing, and then he puts his hand up in the air. It's like a tiny little Rider 1 style pose. And then he continues transforming.
I'll have to watch the episode again and see that, because
he does it in every episode.
I haven't noticed that at all.
I didn't notice it either, because it's so subtle. And when Go transforms, he does that, like, thing where he serves his hand up.
Yeah, he does the Super 1 thing.
And if he was doing fists, he would be doing the Rider 2 pose.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of like the Rider 2 pose, but it's also a lot like Super 1's pose.
Yeah, it is a lot like Super 1. And a lot of times, not every time, when Chase transforms, he holds his gun at his side, and his hand is straight up and down over top of it with his fingers, like, open. And it's like V3's pose.
God damn, you're finding a lot of connections that I missed here.
Well, the thing is, somebody pointed this out on Tumblr, so it could be complete fucking bullshit, but I see the connection because I want to see it.
Even if it wasn't intended by the writers, it's there.
Yeah.
Buried.
And I mean, there is that point in the whole fucking interaction with Kamen Rider 3 where he calls Go Rider 2. And he says, "You think you're Rider 2, huh?"
Oh, yeah.
So there are a lot of fucking allusions to classic Kamen Rider anyway.
Is Drive an anniversary series?
I don't think so.
No, is it? No.
No.
Wait. No, it's not. No. We are 62% certain that Drive is not an anniversary series.
The fucking percentage was dropping as it went along, too. We just caught it, and we're like, fuck it, 62%.
Welcome to Rider Club Radio, the hypest podcast on the internet. Two of us
where we just sit and fucking think for 5 minutes.
No.
No, maybe? No.
So, episode 36, thumbs up?
Yeah, I give it a thumbs up. I thought it was a good episode. I thought, however,
However,
I will say that Nira's little bit about, Kamen Rider versus the Roidmudes, who's gonna win, reminded me that the Roidmudes are pretty fucking understaffed right now.
Well, they still got...
They're pretty much like a bunch of no-name characters, Heart and Medic now.
Why don't they just send every Roidmude at once at Shinosuke?
Why don't they do that in every series?
They got like 50 left, right? They can just send them all.
Yeah, why don't they do that in every series?
I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Why didn't they just send all of the fucking Shocker monsters at Kamen Rider 1 and 2?
Weren't they building them as the episodes went on, or?
Maybe.
I don't know. I know some series they just finish it at the beginning of the episode. Here's our new monster. I don't know if Shocker does that. I've never seen the original Kamen Rider.
Shocker does it sometimes. They do. Sometimes the monster's just there, and sometimes at the beginning of the episode they're like, we've finally created a monster that Kamen Rider won't be able to defeat.
It finally perfected Starfish Hitler. It's ready.
That's X, you piece of shit.
Whatever. It's early enough.
I want everyone to know that Liam doesn't know shit about Kamen Rider. I want that to be on record.
I've only watched Power Rangers. I'm sort of guessing as we go. It's a similar
Anyway,
thing.
so this episode, Tommy showed up. And
I'm pretty sure.
And I'm sitting over here like, yeah, Tommy.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Absolutely, yeah. Just bluff it out.
A good episode. But
Make it till you make it.
The whole fucking... What I was saying was, before I was so rudely interrupted by myself, is that it took this wind out of the sails a little bit. This whole, like, Nira being caught, Brain being defeated thing. So hopefully they recapture that momentum next episode.
Yeah, the next episode preview was really vague about what plot is actually happening. It's just like Heart's gonna fight, and he's gonna try and attain his ultimate evolution. And I guess that's gonna be the next plot point, is he's gonna try and find ultimate joy in battle. But that story arc isn't gonna have shit on what just finished. Like, no.
And that's what I'm worried about. Like, if next episode is underwhelming, I'm gonna be very scared for the rest of the series. But what did you think of this episode? Let's get into your thoughts.
Thumbs up. Great finish. As sad, like, I know I would have said a few weeks ago that I would be very sad to see Nira go, but they gave him a nice wrap up. They gave him a nice, like, he had his villain moment. He had plenty of good Nira bits. His arc is over. He's done. He's finally put away. I'm happy about that. I'm really happy we're finally putting to rest the whole Shinosuke's father thing.
I agree.
And they're not going to drag it out.
There's the moment. I want to point this out. There's the moment when Nira starts laughing when they're carting him away, and I was like, no. He is not going to turn around and say he's not the real killer. No!
Thank
God he didn't.
Thank fucking God he didn't. Other than that, like I said, -1 point for that little cliche of I'll shoot the wall right next to you for dramatic effect. I really don't like that.
Yeah, it was dramatic.
Otherwise, great little moments, great action, very, very tense hostage scene. Thumbs up episode. I liked it a lot.
I'd give it a D-. It was good.
It was fantastic. Great episode. C+, solid.
C+, I wouldn't give it a C+, it's too high.
Okay.
Good episode, though. Thumbs up.
F+, solid F+.
I think that's all we have to say about this episode of Kamen Rider Drive.
Yes, we've talked it over. Go watch it.
It's a good... Why would you be listening to this podcast? Some people do, though. They listen even though they haven't even watched the series.
We should say that at the very beginning of the episode, before we say anything about it. Go watch it or don't go watch it, and then let's get into it, maybe. I don't know.
Who is watching this series and they're like, you know what? If Rider Club Radio doesn't like this episode, I'm just gonna fucking skip it. I don't even know.
Our opinions are really important.
Yeah. How
News.
about some news?
News. Okay. It's been a dry week, but there are a couple things. First and foremost, what I'm most interested in personally, we have new rumors about Ghost. Or a new rumor about Kamen Rider Ghost.
It is a new rumor
a single rumor. And a toy rumor at that, so it's not... Okay, remember those ghost icons, Jeff, we were talking about?
I remember them well.
Yeah, it turns out the ghost icons might be dolls inside of little sphere thingies? It's a rumor.
You know those motherfuckers are gonna talk.
Oh, maybe.
Man, with the successive belt saying, you know those motherfuckers are gonna talk.
See, okay, if you get something like, I know we always come back to Shaman King when we talk about Kamen Rider Ghost, but Shaman King is the best piece of fiction ever put to paper, so I have to always talk about it.
Jesus Christ.
If they pull a thing like Shaman King, where it's like you have one buddy ghost, and then the rest are sort of like side ghosts, maybe, like, in the beginning of Shaman King, he's got the samurai, and then...
This sounds like Pokemon.
I know. He's got the samurai, and that's like his main buddy, and then
Samurai Pikachu,
and then all the others he just sort of uses on the side for, like, specialty, when he has to, like, fist fight somebody, or, like, run a mile, or something like that, he uses a different ghost. If it's something like that, that'd be okay. I don't like talking toys, I don't like Keyvats, I don't like that shit.
The Keyvat was a belt.
Keyvat was like a...
Sort of. He was a buckle.
He was a buckle. He was a thing. You put him on the belt. You put the fang on the belt. He's a toy.
He was a buckle.
Okay, he was a buckle, I guess. If you want to get fucking technical.
I'm getting technical as fuck here.
Like, Belt Sand is an exception, but I don't like talking toys. I remember I said this a long time ago, but I was watching Drive when I first started it, and I found out that the shift cars were, like, they could think.
They were sentient.
They're sentient, that's the word I'm looking for. And I was waiting for that scene where they talk, where one of them goes, "Oh, Tamari, what's going on?" And Tamari's like, "What's up, fucking Spike, Funky Spike, what's going on?" Like, I would have dropped the show right there. But they don't talk, thank God. I don't like it.
They just make dumb little horn noises all the time.
That's fine.
I'm fine. I would actually much prefer dumb little horn noises over them talking.
It makes dialogue hysterical. Remember the scene when there was the episode about Dream Vegas and how he's sad over his partner?
Oh yeah, when he's fucking having the deep conversation with him in the rain.
That
was emotionally moving.
Shinosuke's,
that was.
Yeah, Shinosuke's like squatting down like he's about to spit some wisdom. He's like, "Yo, I know what it means to lose a partner, Dream Vegas. I know you're going through some hard shit right now. It's okay, man. It's gonna be fine." And Dream Vegas responds by making a bunch of slot machine noises at him.
Dream Vegas is like, "Honk, honk," and he's like, "I know, buddy."
We're all gonna make it, bruh. Honk, honk, ching. Great. I can deal with that. It's silly, but it's not annoying.
Hey, do you think that, what the fuck are, there's like UFO machines that have the little, like, orbs in them, the little, like, plastic bubbles that have toys in them and shit?
Oh yeah, like little prize
Do you think it might
things.
have something like that, then?
Oh. That'd be interesting.
That'd be pretty neato.
Yeah, that's something to think about. That's brain food for the next week.
Think about all this horse shit that we're just spewing out of nowhere.
Hey, we're 1 for 1 for Kamen Rider Ghost predictions. That's a pretty good track record.
If they are like UFO machine plastic baubles with dolls in them,
that's 2 for 2.
2 for 2, baby.
Yeah.
They're not gonna be.
Okay. We have a couple more plot details about Gaim Gaiden 2. If you remember the one about Kamen Rider Duke and Kamen Rider Knuckle. We got a couple more plot details.
I will start by telling you about the only part that matters.
Duke!
And that's that Kamen Rider Knuckles part has him facing off against Team Neo Baron.
Team Neo Baron. That's silly.
Team New Baron. And they are led by original character Do Not Steal, who has Kaido's personality.
His name is Shura, apparently, and according to the article,
yeah, like Shura.
He's Kaido 2.
Yeah, he has a similar personality to the early series Kaido, who cared only about attaining power, and apparently also through interpretive dance.
Dancing, yeah, there's no way to express strength better than dancing in a fucking coat in the streets.
Dancing to a single fucking song for the entire series.
Every group has their one song. That's the rules. That's the rules of the Beat Riders.
Yeah, the rules that aren't fucking real rules at all. There are no rules to Beat Riding.
Well,
you dance on a stage to a single song until someone pops out a cassette
yeah, until someone
tape.
yanks your card out and throws it on the ground, and then you Pokemon battle. That's awesome. A lot of people hated early Gaim, and I understand. It was weird. I love the whole, like, children's toy tournament battle setup. I like it.
It was cool. I actually liked it, too. I was happy when the dancing segments were over, but I enjoyed them while they lasted.
It was good pacing. You know, everything starts off fine, and then it gradually goes to shit.
Oh yeah, everything gets fucking worse for our heroes throughout that series until you only have despair. Endless
if you ain't
despair.
Seen Gaim, that's our review of Gaim. If you ain't seen Gaim, watch Gaim.
Endless despair. That's the
Endless.
review of Gaim.
We also got a couple details about the Kamen Rider Duke portion.
Who cares?
Okay, alright, moving on.
Go ahead.
No, apparently he fights a cult called Black Linden. The Zack portion, the Kamen Rider Knuckle portion, takes place after the end of the series, like a year after. The Duke portion takes place, like, before the halfway point, during the development of the Genesis drivers, and he fights a cult called Black Linden, which is led by a former Yggdrasil employee, and the guy's got a pomegranate lock seed. So that's that.
Boy, that makes zero fucking sense. I hope that makes more sense in the movie.
And he brainwashes people into joining his cult.
As most cult leaders do.
Yeah. So that's Gaim Gaiden 2. I'm still pretty excited. I think it's going to be neat.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
The first one was...
my husbando's in it.
The first one was decent, unintentionally hilarious at times.
That's true.
So I hope for more of the same with Gaim Gaiden 2. I'm not expecting Shakespeare, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah, here's hoping.
Yeah. Last piece of news, and this isn't really a big one, but a tiny little weird plot detail about Kamen Rider Drive Surprise Future. And in keeping with the tradition of Surprise Future being weirder and weirder every time you learn something new about it, apparently the evil Tony Stark Krim that we've seen is going to declare himself king of the Roidmudes.
Makes total sense to me.
Yeah, that's the evil future Krim.
Also, we have been continually talking about Surprise Future as if Tamari Eiji, Shinosuke's son, was typed next.
Dark Drive.
Which is, Dark Drive, which is completely fucking untrue.
You know what that was? Because I swear to God, the first reveal of Dark Drive said he was Eiji. I think that might have... I have no proof of this. I'm talking completely out of my ass. I think it might have been a mistranslation. Like, he's chasing Eiji from the future. He's coming to get him from the future.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
Like you're just covering your own ass.
No, I swear up and down I read that he was Eiji from, like, 2 different sources at least. It must have been a popular mistranslation or something. I'm not crazy.
Well, I will freely admit that I didn't know and talked right out of my ass. It just seemed to fit at the time.
I've been feeding Jeff little bits of misinformation so he embarrasses himself live. It's a good plan.
Holy shit, you don't even need to do that. I embarrass myself live every fucking episode.
Every time we turn on these microphones, we embarrass ourselves live.
No kidding.
So that's the news. It was a bit of a dry week. There's some toys
that's
shit.
True.
Drive's gonna have some McDonald's toys, who cares?
Who gives a shit?
Nothing substantial.
Let's talk about some fucking mail.
Yeah, here's the mail.
We got an email from Mowgli.
Oh, before we start, if you want to email us, that's riderclubradio@gmail.com, please.
Had to get that little fucking plug in there,
Let's just throw that out there right now before they stop listening. riderclubradio@gmail.com. Okay.
Follow us on Twitter. It's at riderclubradio.
Okay, go.
Mowgli writes from deep in the jungle. Hi guys, love the show. I've got 2 questions for you this week, and hopefully the second one won't lead to a fight and a flurry of badly done rider kicks. I'll have you know I am rider kick champion of my county.
I have
4 years in a row.
I've yet to see Jeff do a front flip, so I can't corroborate, but we'll see.
Just look up YouTube videos. Best rider kick on earth.
It's me. Give me a trampoline, I'll do a fucking rider kick, but I'm not gonna run and jump.
First, what do you guys think is the saddest moment in Kamen Rider? I've only seen Phase 2 Heisei shows, so for me it would be a tie between episode 48 of Double and Kengo's note in Fourze. Alright, let's hear it. What's your saddest?
Okay, huge spoilers here. Skip to... I'll fill this in post to avoid huge spoilers.
You fucking will.
Skip to 31:37 to avoid huge Kamen Rider Black spoilers. I'm gonna say the saddest moment in Kamen Rider, for me, is when Nobuhiko dies in Black, at the end of Black. Because the whole, like, half the fucking show is about how are we gonna save Nobuhiko? It's a superhero show, right? He's gotta be able to be turned back. But no, like, Kamen Rider Black, I'm blanking on his name.
Kamen Rider Black?
What is Kamen Rider Black's name?
His name is fucking Kotaro. Minami Kotaro.
Yeah, okay, Kamen Rider Black, Kotaro, he gets out right away, right?
You remember Nobuhiko?
I remember Nobuhiko. Kotaro gets out, right? But they have Nobuhiko for like a year. You can't undo that shit. And you see, gradually, he gets morphed into this disgusting grasshopper creature in like a pupa. Like, his whole life is just this shitty, and the whole time you want him to come back. Because, like, he's been dealt a real crappy hand. You want him to, like, maybe Black can save him, and then you get to the end finally, and he's just not, there's not even a shred of him left. And they fight, and then finally Black, like, does the rider kick on him, and in Golgom's headquarters, he's lying on his back. Nobuhiko's lying on his back, and Black goes, Nobuhiko, like, seriously, you're not gonna come back? And Nobuhiko's like, Kotaro, I hate you. You just killed your fucking brother. That's gonna haunt you for the rest of your life. And then he just lies back. And the whole time Kotaro's like, I'll come back for you. He goes, he beats Great Leader, he comes back, he's like, Nobuhiko, you there? And he's just lying there. He's just blank. And it's like, fuck, man, like, Nobuhiko's whole story just...
That is a sad fucking
capped
story.
Off by that ending, man. He killed his own fucking brother, Kotaro. Kotaro wins in the end, but Golgom, they take everything from him. Shit, man.
God damn.
What about you? What's your saddest moment?
That's rough. I don't know, man. I don't know if I could beat that. There are two sad moments. And in a funny way, a moment that really hit me from out of left field was in a terrible, terrible fucking movie. And I talk about how terrible this movie is all the time.
Is this Die Shocker?
No, it's Kamen Rider the Next.
Oh, okay.
Because you see this really weird friendship build up between fake Hongo and fake Ichimonji. Throughout the first movie, and then throughout the second movie. Spoiler alert, I guess, for this bad movie.
Skip to time.
Don't skip. Don't watch this movie. Ichimonji is fucking dying because he's not the perfect cyborg in the way that Hongo is, and his body is rejecting his cyborg parts. And he's been dying since the ending of the first movie. And right before he leaves, like earlier in the movie, he tells Hongo, take it easy. I'm the only friend you've got, remember? And then at the end of the movie, as he's like fucking slowly walking away, like bleeding everywhere, Hongo says, take it easy. I'm your only friend, right? And they like smile at each other, and then he goes to a fucking club that he went to all the time with all these girls, and he just fucking dies there.
Surrounded by chicks.
Yeah, he sits down and he says, I've lived a good life, haven't I? And then he just fucking slowly dies and drops his drink.
Well, fuck, man.
It might be a tie between the death of... Spoiler alert here, skip to...
34-38. Also, Jeff failed to mention this because he's an idiot, but these spoilers are for Double and Ryuki. Not the movies or anything, just the show. So prepare for that.
That'll be Liam's voice right there.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Skip to, I'm a big fucking idiot named Jeff. But, it's a tie between Nazca's death and Kamen Rider Double.
You just spoiled me, motherfucker.
Oh, God, yeah, I just fucking did.
No, I already knew.
Well. Anyway, and Tezuka's death.
In also Double?
No, in Ryuki.
You
don't remember Tezuka?
No, yeah, Raya.
Yeah, that was a fucking, like, legitimate, heart-wrenching moment when Shinji yells out his name when he's dying.
Yeah, because Raya was the only rider other than Shinji who wasn't an absolute prick.
Yeah. So that's my spoilerific sad moments. But I really don't think I can beat Nobuhiko's story.
That shit was heavy.
Yeah, no kidding. Let's move on to the second question real quick.
Mm-hmm.
The question that might make us fight. Second, if you guys were the main characters of a rider show, who would be the main rider and who would be the secondary? I'm very interested to hear your response and your reasoning. Go.
Jeff would be the main rider and I would be the detective.
Oh, you would be the Ichijo.
Yeah, I would be Ichijo.
Really?
That's what I think. That's my honest belief.
I could see that.
What about you, Jeff? What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, I absolutely think that we would not be a main rider and a secondary rider. We would be like Rider 1 and Rider 2.
Like double riders.
They're equal partners.
Yeah.
I could not do this show without Liam. It was a piece of shit before he joined.
There was, 3 episodes?
There were 3 episodes. It's not a metric. They had 4 views.
It's not a metric. It might have been good.
No. Well, the guy who was here before you was also good. I want to say that. Yeah. But nobody listened to the podcast at that point. So, who cares? Fuck him.
You need me.
So yeah, we would be double riders. That's my take on it. We wouldn't be like double riders though. We would be like the Hopper brothers. Just horrible fucking comic relief for whoever's the main character.
Yeah, I can believe. I'll switch my answer to that. That makes more sense.
Alright, let's move on to the next email.
Okay. What do we got next here? From Jake. Oh, this is a question more for you, Jeff, than for me. Hey guys, been listening to the podcast since it started, and it's really great. It's been nice to see that I am not alone as an English-speaking Kamen Rider fan. Been meaning to write to you guys for a while, but I couldn't think of anything till recently. I started trying to get into Space Sheriff Gavan, but I couldn't find any good subs of it, and ones that I do refer to him as Universe Sergeant Kaban. Ouch. Fuck.
That's rough.
What do you guys think of Space Sheriff Gavan and the Metal Heroes? Is it worth trying to track down subs for these shows? Jeff, you're the Gavan fan between us. What do you think?
There are no subs of Space Sheriff Gavan. The first episode is subbed, and then, episode 43, 45, and 48 are subbed or something.
Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous. I watched a lot of Gavan with no subtitles, not knowing what the fuck was going on. It was a pretty decent experience.
You get half of it.
I love Gavan, I really do, but that love for Gavan came originally from seeing his crossover movie with Gokaiger, Pirate Sentai Gokaiger.
That's such a brilliant idea for a crossover movie.
It really is. That's the fucking smartest tokusatsu team-up I've ever seen in my life, and it's just a really great movie on top of it. So I really wanted to see more Gavan, so I watched a bunch of the series unsubbed, but there is a movie from several years ago called Space Sheriff Gavan the Movie, which has the original Gavan return to his role again after his last appearance in Gokaiger, and he passes the role of Gavan onto a new guy who looks fucking awful as a person. He's just hideous, but he's a really great character, and you grow to love him, and it's just a fucking awesome movie. And not only that, but there were 2 straight-to-video sequels that happened. They were filmed at the exact same time. About Space Sheriff Sherivan and Space Sheriff Scheider, and those are both also really fucking good movies.
Aren't those the ones that have Date Akira in them? Yeah,
Date Akira from O's Kamen Rider Birth is Space Sheriff Scheider.
Yeah, that's the one.
In those movies. And the coolest part about them is that Gavan the movie, each of them functions as their own movie, but there's also an overarching plot that goes throughout all 3 of them. It's really cool. And they were subbed by Overtime, as a matter of fact, I believe.
So those are good subs on there. You don't have to worry about Universe really Sergeant Kaban.
Yeah, I'm actually not entirely certain if I'm right about who subbed it, but I can't really open my files right now to find out.
They were decent subs.
They were good subs. They were.
So, to answer your question, Jake, the reason why you can't find good Space Sheriff Gavan subs is because they don't exist. So, if you want to scratch that itch, just watch the movies.
Yeah, that's why I was begging last episode for somebody to sub Space Sheriff Gavan.
Just scream into the void. Maybe somebody who knows Japanese will hear you.
I'm trying to use my fucking powers for good. My weak Z-grade powers for good.
Okay.
The next one is from Christian, and he asks, if you could have any rider suit or cosplay as any rider, which would you choose? Liam?
Oh, man, that's a tough one.
No kidding.
That's a really tough one. My favorite suit in all of Kamen Rider, I would want G3X.
Really?
I love G3X.
I thought you were going to say black.
I like black. I almost said Knight, but I think I like G3X a little more.
Yeah, G3X is fucking sweet.
He's so cool.
It really is.
I haven't seen Agito yet, but I've seen G3X, and he looks sublime.
Very true.
What's your answer, Jeff?
Kamen Rider the First.
Of course.
Rider 1 suit, immaculate.
The redesigns...
Fucking immaculate.
The redesigns in the first and the next are top-notch.
Those movies are... The first is decent, the next is a piece of fucking steaming hot garbage. Don't watch either of them, but those suits...
Man, those suits...
Just look up the action scenes on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's all you really need.
Yeah. It was weird. When Kamen Rider 3 came out, the aesthetic of Kamen Rider 3 looked like the first and the next.
Mm-hmm.
But he played alongside the Kamen Rider 1 and 2, who were not the original outfits, but like the old ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're like New Rider 1 and New Rider 2
weird.
from the 70s.
It looked weird. It's the thing that's in all the crossover movies where they do New Riders and Old Riders, is you see so many different clashing design philosophies.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Kamen Rider the First. Great fucking suits.
Yeah, I would be the first version of Kamen Rider 1, like the blue...
Yeah, like that
the blue-green version with like the pink eyes.
Turquoise. I love that outfit.
It's so good. So fucking good.
Alright, we have a question from Barrett.
He says, "Yo, love your work and all that. I got a question for you guys. What is your favorite smaller detail in a Kamen Rider series? Mine is how the show handles its finishing moves. The special effects are never going to be good, but I like how in Ryuki how he rider kicks at the speed of a jet, and Kuga killing a Grongi is also awesome, like the Fist in the North Star or something. Having the villain respond to the fact that they're going to die is always cool. I'm one of the few people who will defend Wizard, but its finishing moves were kinda limp. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Barrett." What's your favorite smaller detail, Liam?
My favorite smaller detail in Rider is reused sound effects. It's so, like, I don't know what it is. It's reused sound effects, reused sets, reused shit in general, where you see these little connections, these little, like, behind-the-scenes connections between the shows. Like, for example, in Ryuki, whenever they slot in a card, there's always that sound effect where it's like the... You know that?
Mm-hmm.
They put the... It's the same sound effect that they use when they move the Zectors. When they put the Zectors in and they do the fucking transformation.
Holy shit, you're right.
It's the exact same...
Is the same sound.
Like, exact same one. Or in a recent series, when you slap the belt buckle on, it's like a... They use the same fucking one. The same fucking sound effect.
That's the same one. I think that sound effect fucking was first in Blade. Because Blade uses the same fucking sound effect when the belt goes on.
No, I don't believe they would use it for that long. Bullshit.
Anyway.
I'll check.
I'm thinking of Fives, actually. But anyway.
What about you, Jeff?
My favorite small touch is something I touched on earlier when I was talking about the Rider 1, 2, and V3 connections with Drive, is throwbacks to older Rider series, especially Showa throwbacks.
Oh yeah, those are fun.
I get, like, such a fucking nerd boner. Every time that happens is the greatest. Anything that could even possibly remotely have anything to do with Showa, I'm excited about.
I wish we could have stuff in Rider like Ninja had, where the two other Ninja Rangers came back.
Oh yeah, I wish that would happen more often. But I mean, most of the time Rider series, especially Heisei Rider series, all take place in their own world.
That's true.
Don't overlap.
That's true.
Until a movie shows up and then Drive can hop in a car and drive over to Zawame City.
Yeah. Baron can just walk to Futo and... I don't know, I think that would be neat. Like, I came back to Ninja. I'm not even watching Ninja, but when I found out that episode was happening, I was like, oh, that's fucking cool. I watched that one. It was nifty. I wish we had stuff like that. That is
cool. Especially if there was, like, a similar theme or something. That would be great to bring older characters back for. I think the problem with that is older Rider actors never want to step foot in another fucking Rider set ever again.
Yeah, well, it's not that they don't want to, it's that their agency usually keeps them...
And sometimes they just don't
Sometimes, yeah, but, like, we've touched on this before, but, like, you don't want to get typecast, you don't want to be, like, the Toku guy who's only in Toku.
Yes.
Like Decade is. Or it's like, it seems like a dead end for an actor.
He's reveling in that shit, though.
He loved Power to You, Masahiro Inoue. But not every actor wants that.
No. Joe Odagiri especially did not want that shit.
Joe Odagiri apparently doesn't hate Rider as much as a lot of people say he does. Apparently,
I don't know. Every interview I hear with him is like, he talks about Rider being infantile, and he's glad he doesn't have to go back to it.
I hear he keeps good ties with some of the, I know, like, producer or something of Kuga he's still buddies with. Apparently, he's just, like, wants to distance. I don't know what the situation is. I've heard.
I think deep inside we all want Joe Odagiri to be more like Godai.
I would love for Joe Odagiri to come back. That'd be nice.
That would be amazing.
That's a dream though. That's never gonna happen.
No.
Okay. We have an email from Jose, and he says, "Hello, Jeff and Liam. I'm just writing to tell you guys that I love listening to your podcast. Keep up with this great job. Anyways, I don't really know if you've been asked this before since I'm sort of a new fan, but still, how did you guys get into Kamen Rider?" And an interesting little bit about this letter, it's not just in English, there's a whole Spanish version of the letter above it. So it's cool, we got international fans.
Yeah, he said, "I just wrote it like that so that you'll know that you've got fans a little further away than Canada and the US. That's so fucking cool."
That's awesome to know. If you'd written it in French, I might have been able to read it, but no.
Yeah, I don't know enough Spanish to be able to read it. Like, it's been years since I practiced any Spanish.
Yeah, they teach you Yankees. They teach Spanish there, don't they?
Yeah, you think a lot more of us would retain a hell of a lot more, but like I said, it's been like 10 years since I studied it.
Yeah, I understand.
I actually got fairly interested in learning it, but I never retained it, I guess. But anyway.
What's your favorite? How did you get into Kamen Rider?
Actually, I got into Kamen Rider thanks to 4chan, of all things.
That's not surprising.
Because there was for people who don't know, there's a board on 4chan that's dedicated to mecha. Like, Gundam is the biggest thing there. And there was a bit of a war because people came to the mecha board and started posting Kamen Rider. And there was a huge war between Kamen Rider fans and people who did not want Kamen Rider on that board.
Well, where else are you going to talk about Kamen Rider? The TV board doesn't want it, that's for goddamn sure.
Nobody wants to fucking touch it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's long in the past. But I was super curious because at the time I was reading Turn A Gundam. And I was super interested in like what this Kamen Rider thing was. And I believe at the time, Decade was finishing up. So Decade was not my first series, thankfully. My first series was actually, the first Kamen Rider thing I watched was Kamen Rider the First.
Oh man, that's
And that's the parts in the middle with the weird drama with the kids and everything, like,
rough intro.
Almost turned me off from it. But that action was so sweet. I was like, I gotta see more of this. So I went to the thread and asked them to spoon feed me. And they told me that I should watch Kabuto. And I didn't. I watched Double when it started. And then I went back and watched Kabuto. Along with Double. I watched them at the same time. And holy shit, I was hooked. From that moment on, I went around and I had to force everyone I know to have something to do with Kamen Rider. Like, you had to watch something if you knew me. Cue Liam's entry to Kamen Rider.
I got into Kamen Rider. You kind of got me into Kamen Rider, Jeff. I started with Sentai. Sentai was my gateway. I remember you and me and a few other people, we all got together and we watched Zyuranger together.
Which was amazing to do. If you haven't got in a group of your friends, even if it's just over the internet, like you're in a stream or something, and watched a tokusatsu series, do it. It is so fun.
It enhances the experience to watch it with some good friends. Zyuranger I picked because I recognized the suits. I wanted to watch a Sentai series, and I was like clicking through them, and I saw the Zyuranger. I was like, I know those guys. I'll watch that one. I'll watch that one first. And we watched that through, and the actor that played Geki, a few times you mentioned this, Jeff, that you were like, oh, this is the only guy who's ever played a Red Ranger in Sentai and a Kamen Rider. I was like, oh, that's interesting. What Kamen Rider was he? And you were like, J. Okay, let's watch Kamen Rider J.
So we watched Kamen Rider J in the same group.
We watched Kamen Rider J, all of us together, and it was a rollicking good time. I love J. And around that time was, I think, it was like Wizard was on, I think. Here I am revealing how fucking late I got into Kamen Rider.
Look at this fucking new guy.
Wizard was on, and I waited for that to be over, and I watched Gaim. That was my first...
We got a Gaim baby on board.
Gaim baby. I watched Gaim, and then I fell down the hole real hard, because while Gaim was on, I watched Stronger and Ryuki. I finished those before Gaim was done, and I was... By the time Gaim was even over, I was deep in that rabbit hole.
So I think this is a good lesson for people to learn as well. I feel like a lot of fans of Kamen Rider present themselves like they're, I've been into Kamen Rider since 1971, bitch. Like, and that's not true. Well, most Kamen Rider fans have probably been into Kamen Rider less than 5 or 6 years, regardless of how much they present themselves as being, like, longer term. Because it really hasn't been that big in America. And it still isn't that big in America.
It's not officially here, so...
No, but I feel like we started, like, as a whole, like, this whole community, this whole internet subbing culture and everything really got moving around it probably got its biggest steam around, like, Kiva.
Kiva, yeah.
Yeah. Like, probably, like, around Kiva, or, like, when Decade started or something. And maybe there was a big community before that I just don't know about. But my point here is that it's okay, and I'm absolutely encouraging you that if you're new, dive headlong into that shit. Learn about as much of it as you possibly can, and talk about it freely. Don't hold your tongue because you're new.
Don't be ashamed. It's okay. We're here for you.
Believe in yourself because we believe in you.
Alright, we have an email. That's riderclubradio@gmail.com. We have a Twitter, @riderclubradio. Shoot us an email, follow us on Twitter, send us a tweet.
Yeah, absolutely interact with us. We have a damn good time talking to you guys.
Do it as much as possible.
We appreciate you listening. Every single person who listens to this, who tells their friends about it, who passes it along, you guys are the coolest guys. Everybody who doesn't pass it along, you're the shittiest guys.
Yeah, we hate you. Personally.
I would spit in your face if I met you in person. Nah, I don't care. Tell your friends. If they like Kamen Rider, if they like Tokusatsu, tell them. Be like, hey, these two idiots talk about it on their podcast.
Tell your friends to tell their friends. Tell them to tell their friends to tell their friends.
Tell your mom.
Tell your mom. She might not care.
Tell your Aunt Betty.
Tell your dog.
We've heard that dogs love Rider Club Radio. That's what we've been hearing.
It's the word on the street.
Just plug your headphones in and put those headphones on your dog and leave them alone for a while so they can enjoy.
Let's see how long it takes before he gets up and leaves.
Yeah, time that and then tweet it at us.
Yeah, it'll be a metric for how good we're doing.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
See you.